other top 8s, I'm sorry. We have seen 3 Cool Tune and 1 branded in those 4 decks. And now we have Elfnote, big combo deck, versus Mitsurugi. And what I am asking myself is, because I don't think we have had a single Light and Darkness Ritual deck in the top 8.
No, I don't think we have. Having said that, it did phenomenally well yesterday in the playoffs as well. But it's interesting to see how it will go on through here in this game. But we are now ready to move on to game 1.
The players are ready. Have we performed the die roll already, or is this? I think we have.
Seems we have, yeah. Let's have a look, see who is going to be going first here. Will it be Florian and the Mitsurugi deck, or Daniel on the Elfnote deck? Let's have a look, see which of these will be going first. It looks as if we have Daniel on the Elfnote deck here.
Oh, and that is a Regina. Did Regina start? And this one is now going to be able to summon an Elfnote from the deck. That does not look like the strongest start. Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring is being activated, but normal summon Elfnote Power Patron is going to kick us off. And let me tell you, this normal summon, while it's not ideal for most combos, this is a strong start, because now we can go into the Strelitzia and we can search for another Elfnote card. Plus, we can get a free main monster zone.
Absolutely. I think most days you'd see that start from Daniel, and the Ash Blossom would be an automatic usage there. That didn't seem like a very powerful start, but we had the extension, we had the extra play in hand, and we are still going.
Now let's see whether the used up normal summon is going to hurt us in our Elfnote combo during this turn. Strelitzia is, of course, an absolutely gorgeous card as well, very colorful.
Yeah, absolutely. Has an effect as well, which during the main phase lets you special summon 1 level 6 or lower Elfnote monster from your hand or graveyard. And you can reduce the levels of all level 4 or higher monsters on the field by 3. Has an amazing effect there to impact the opponent as well.
This card is basically also Crystal Wing. It's just, you can just summon out Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. Oh, we are reducing the levels and we're going to TG Hyper Librarian. What is happening now? Tinya is being special summoned, activates the effect, and I think Daniel has lured us in a false sense of security.
Haven't seen TG Hyper Librarian in a deck in a very long time, but we do see that Tinya summoned as well here, and the Elfnote Welcome Home activated directly from the deck, discarding the Mulchami Fualos to add an Elfnote card from deck to hand with, I believe, a different attribute to that.
The last time I saw TG Hyper Librarian, it cost some kerfuffles.
Do tell.
Well, it just drew a bunch of cards every single time you made a power
causes
turn.
problems, it does. We see the Fortuna summon here from deck as well, able to activate a trap directly from deck. The last time I saw this usage was, I think it was a tech option in some early Yummy builds, but since then I've not really seen it for a while.
I wonder how strong the draws are going to be in this deck, because that means that you're going to run a big amount of non-engine that you're trying to find. So we got the Power Patron back. We can now go into the June Pride.
Elfnote June Pride, such a powerful card. Has an effect that lets you summon 3 Elfnote names from, I believe, your graveyard and your deck.
Up to 3.
Up to 3, apologies.
Because Banishment is also, or is it from hand? Hand, deck, or GY.
Because so I know you can actually, I know you can go spell it, so it's very easily interactable, but very powerful card as well in and of itself. We do see the summon of the Regina from the hand. We see 1 coming from the graveyard here in the Strelitzia, and 1 coming from the deck. We'll find out in just a moment.
I think we haven't gone through Lucina, or we could go for another Elfnote Power Patron, because that one is a tuner. And ever since we have summoned the TG Librarian, we haven't really synchro summoned. Back in the day, this card was also basically Floodgate-esque for your opponent, since you also draw when your opponent synchro summons.
Yeah, absolutely. We do see the Elfnote Power Potion summon from the deck here as well. Going to do for another synchro summon, getting another draw from that TG Hyper Librarian as a mandatory Chainlink 1, summoning the Axel Synchro Stardust Dragon here.
And that is, of course, a cool way to play here, because you are going to go through more synchro summons while getting to your end field with the synchro monsters you want to end on. I wonder if you're going to be able to find your way into the Crystal Wing. I'm pretty sure you can. You have the Rhapsodia of Madness, so that one is going to get the Strelitzia back. But we are going to go into another Synchro with the Regina and the Elfnote Power Patron. So we're summoning FA Dawn Drexler, which is going to net us another draw. I think we picked up Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. That would be absolutely crazy.
Pretty darn good. A card that does benefit you anywhere in the game, but it's so nice when you can pass your opponent and have that extra interaction in hand as well.
Wow, that is a pretty loaded hand.
It really is.
But he is actually playing versus Mitsurugi, a deck that went a little under the radar recently. It was deemed too inconsistent to perform at big tournaments. However, in Kori, a card that feels like it was designed for the Light and Darkness Ritual deck was released. The Ragged, and the Ragged Records of Rights is actually just another Habakiri that you can put into your deck, because Habakiri reads something with Mitsurugi Ritual.
Absolutely, indeed. We do see the normal summon here of the Aramasa coming down to the field. Maybe not the most powerful start here from Florian. It's not bad, of course. By no means is this a terrible start, but it's interesting to see how he's going to play through this here. We add the Mitsurugi, Amina Habakiri, no Mitsurugi to hand. I got there in the end. And we're going to see how we can play through this field here. Plenty of interruptions. We have the Trap, we have the Excel Synchro Stardust Dragon, we have the FA Dawn Dragster, and of course a very full hand of interactions as well.
Is there a world in which Daniel activates the effect from the Excel Stardust Dragon to summon out Stardust Dragon before the Mitsurugi hits, Murakumo hits the field, so that he can actually use the effect?
I'll tell you what, Leo, your brain's much bigger than mine, because I had not thought of that, but yeah, that sounds like it could be something very interesting here. Absolutely, goodness me.
Would sound incredibly funny. However, I think if your opponent uses one of their big monsters on the field to summon Stardust Dragon, I think you're like, okay, let's go. Do that. I will attack over it.
Yeah, I'm not sure you'd need to, especially because we have the FA Dawn Dragster here, which can negate this ritual if needs be. And of course the Trap as well. So we have two different ways to interact with this.
Trap is throwing away another Fuwalos and tries to summon out the Strelitzia, of course.
It is Ghost Bellable, but it doesn't seem to have happened here.
That does negate a face-up card on the field. Elfnote's Rhapsodia of Madness is not only a card that enhances your combo, but also negates something on the opposing side of the field, non-targeting. Card's kinda crazy, actually.
It's a very powerful card as well, yeah. You can use it during your own turn as well. The negate is optional. It's the other thing that you really use to get value out of there. Summoning that Strelitzia back to the field and negating that ritual summon.
Only if you have a Synchro monster on the field, though. So sometimes when you're playing through that field and you have used some hand trips to diminish their combo and they end on the Rhapsodia, it's not as threatening.
No, perhaps not. But we do see here the Mitsurugi Prez activating, tributing the Habakiri from hand, and will that see an answer here from Daniel?
That could be Ghost Bell and Haunted Mansion. However, that doesn't ever feel so good. I mean, yes, it special summons something from the graveyard or from the deck, basically, or just add something. But in the end, if you trade a Ghost Bell for the prayers, you are going to have an issue with the Habakiri effect. So you could use the Dawn Dragster, negate that, and then Ghost Bell the effect of Habakiri.
That's my thoughts exactly. I could be wrong as well. I understand that certain different cards have different interactions with this, but if you Ghost Spell the prayers, can they not activate another prayers because it negates the activation?
Yes, that is 100% correct.
But then so does FA Dawn Dragster, so either way.
It's also true. So that is a card that you are apparently likely to let go through. We're getting the Saji back, and that is already something dangerous, because now all of a sudden there's 2 level 4 monsters on the field. And if we have learned anything in Yu-Gi-Oh! History class, is that there is a plethora of options that you can go into when you look at your extra deck. Rank 4 monsters are incredibly powerful ever since the beginning of that game. Even something like an Exciter-Knight could be incredibly strong here, especially since the Rhapsodia has already been used.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. What do we have going on here? We have the prayers being added to Was that added after the Habakiri?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Oh no, this could be Saji. We summoned back the Saji.
But we already used Saji's effect to add the original ritual.
No, we started with the normal summon of... Did we? Okay.
Yeah, because the Habakiri summoned Saji, triple Saji.
Thank you so much. Glad to have you here.
I have to be looking at stuff. I got eyes and things. We do see the Axel Synchro Stardust Dragon here activating the effect. Are we going to see anything?
Are we going to just have a Stardust Dragon as part of our end field? Is that going to be the case?
Kind of cool if we do, truthfully. But we do get the draw as well. Of course, it does count as a Synchro Summon.
So we get that draw, and now this card would be an answer. I know why he did it, because not only does that give us another draw, but Excited Knight does kind of look like it's unchecked on the field, right? So if you would go into the Excited Knight, you could, as player priority, just go Wumms. Yeah. Just go Excited Knight, boom, destroy everything. Now Strelitzia is going to be activated, and I think it's going to shrink the levels of monsters on the field. How exactly does that work again?
Well, it would reduce them by 3 in this situation if it does resolve, and therefore you would not be able to make a rank 4 here, because it does affect, I believe, all other level 4 or higher monsters on the field, I believe.
So this card is actually really, really strong in this situation.
Isn't discussing something with the judge here by the looks of things. Not sure what the issue is at the table. We're putting that Stardust back in the deck now.
Do you have to perform a Synchro Summon with the Stardust Dragon that you are
I don't
summoning?
think you do. I think you maybe have to perform a quick Synchro, but I don't think it doesn't have to be with Stardust Dragon. That much I'm aware of.
Special summon with Stardust Dragon from your extra deck. Then immediately after this effect resolves, Synchro Summon using monsters you control as material.
You do have to Synchro Summon is the issue there. That's a shame.
And it does not necessarily look like there is a...
No way to do it here, it seems.
Yeah.
Unless we can resolve the Strelitzia first to summon a Tuner from Graveyard and then do the Excel Synchro. But I don't know if we're going to be able to do that here.
Yeah, that would work. And now we're discussing, okay, we have had...
We did pull the cards.
Illegal draw. He's just showing another full loss. Thank goodness that we are recording this matchup. We have this with judges keeping their eyes on this. So I don't think it would even change anything, because we are probably going to go into this regardless if we use the Strelitzia and we are then able to perform a Synchro Summon.
Yeah, I think you're completely correct on that. Again, it will be interesting to see what the judge call states and what we do go into here. I think that's what's going to happen. I think we're going to go for the Strelitzia, maybe Chainlink 1 or Excel Chainlink 1. Although we can't activate that if we can't perform the Synchro Summon as a Chainlink 1, surely. So I think we are going to go for the Strelitzia effect first, if anything.
Yeah, I think we have to. Then that also reduces the level of the monsters on the field. Still having a little bit of a discussion here, but that is fine, that is all right. This is an incredibly pressuring moment for those players. This is your play-in for the World Championships, for the semi-finals. And we've been talking about the WCS for so long this weekend already, but there is still a pretty big title on the line, because yes, everyone wants to go to Worlds, but so many people remember the European champion.
You're absolutely correct. Being the European champion comes with its own level of prestige, own level of respect. Getting to Worlds, as you say, absolutely wonderful. Being the champion of your region is also a truly incredible achievement that both players are, I'm sure at this point, desperate to achieve. Still considering our players. Again, we are on an untimed match. There's no need to rush our plays here, and it's good to players take their time, consider their plays. We don't need to rush anything here, and it is fair that we are waiting to make sure that everything is, the I's are dotted, the T's are crossed, making sure everything is done to the letter correctly.
So we are still checking out those different cards. So I think we are having a little bit of a longer situation on our hands. But don't worry, we are going to be with you through this. You're going to enjoy a little bit more of our yapping.
We do be yapping. I think we just... yes, Florian now just reading the... I saw it not on the field. I went, where's it gone? How do you think the Elfnote and Mitsurugi matchup is going to go here? I'm not asking you to predict a winner, of course, but what would you expect to happen each game? How do you expect each game to go yourself?
So I think going first, Mitsurugi has a big advantage.
Yeah.
Because if you can set up your full field, a deck that has a lot of monsters that they need to summon to work is rather fragile versus Murakumo, especially if you can destroy cards or get rid of cards or go IP into SP when the Welcome Home is being activated, because that actually protects the monster in the main monster zone from destruction, so you have to be wary of that. I think Mitsurugi can tax enough cards from the hand with Murakumo and other interactions to be able to win that game rather easily. Going second, I think, of course, Elfnote is a huge combo deck, so even though the hand wasn't ideal, we had to normal summon the Elfnote Power Patron. There is still an argument to be made that Elfnote is probably still favored. It's a huge combo deck.
It is, and has more recent direct support for it as well. No, I think you're right. It's an interesting matchup to be sure. It's not something I think anyone necessarily expected to see exactly the matchup of in the top 8, in the the deciding match to send someone to Worlds here. But it is a true pleasure to see what's going on and see these fantastic deck pilots, see how they can keep themselves in the running here as well.
It's funny how strong Mitsurugi all of a sudden is if you just add a little bit more consistency to it. Because that was the main choking point of the deck. That was the reason why many players actually just pivoted away from the Mitsurugi strategy, because they said, hey, the deck already doesn't have the highest ceiling ever. I also don't want to brick. In addition to not making the craziest field, bricking is also a pretty bad thing. But now, with the Ragged from Chaos Origins, I don't want to say it's completely fixed, but you have so many more power spells that will get you your Habakiri. And honestly, I know the deck feels a little bit linear, but Murakumo to go rums and destroy every monster on the field of your opponent, that's pretty strong still. I
think it does feel linear because we are so aware and comfortable with the deck at this point. But yeah, it depends on the pilot as well, obviously. Linear or not, if you know how to pilot your deck, know where your opponent needs to be interacted with, anything can do well in any given situation if you are a good enough player. And obviously these players are good enough. So we're still working out what's going on here. I think what might be happening is, if I had to assume, I'd say, can the Axel Synchro even activate before there is someone on the field to be able to quick synchro with, and therefore it would have to be the Streletsia first, that resolves, and then Axel Synchro. I'd imagine that's the issue we're having here, but I don't know for sure. Just checking the graveyard, checking that everything is done properly here as well.
I mean, that's what also the judges are there for, right? But it does look like we are... I mean, we have resolved our card, right? So we are still in the process of checking if everything is correct. Now, sometimes these rewindings, they take a little bit of time, but let's view the situation for our Mitsurugi player, because one activation of Mitsurugi Ritual has already been negated. However, we do not know if it is the summon from hand or from deck, and that changes the situation drastically.
It might also be the issue of Daniel having drawn a card as well. Obviously, although we can see the game recorded, if that bit wasn't caught specifically on camera, it ends up being a bit of an issue as to know exactly which card was drawn and which card needs to get put back.
I think we are continuing the game.
Wonderful.
Well, this does look like, okay, Streletsia is actually going to resolve. Okay.
There we go.
We are back in business, everyone. Streletsia has now just summoned the Elfnote Power Patron.
And then when that resolves, we go for a new chain one for the Axel Synchro Stardust Dragon, and we go from there.
Yeah, and now at this point, the nerves have been kicking in a little bit. We can't summon the Omega here, but I think it's time for Daniel to take a quick breather for Florian too, because this is the high stakes. We make the Psyframe Lord Omega, and we get another draw from Stardust Dragon and from the Omega, actually.
Of course we do. Interesting. Another very powerful card in and of itself, but it does a lot for any given strategy that can comfortably summon it. We did not use the effect of Strelitzia to decrease levels in the field because we wanted to be able to summon the Omega there.
Can Hyper Librarian trigger 2 times on a summon, on 2 different summons that happened in the same effect?
I don't see why not. They both are synchro summons.
Yeah.
Each time a monster is synchro summoned.
Yeah.
So yeah, in the same way that, for example, if you were to get a Forlos from Crystron Tristaros, that summons from deck and then immediately afterwards summons from the extra deck, that's still 2 draws.
Okay, perfect. Then we have figured out the situation. So we are trying to overlay here.
That is the Baguska, the terribly tired Tapir here. In attack position, interestingly enough. So in attack position, this card cannot be destroyed by opponent's card effects. Interesting, and it's in the center main monster zone for that as well, which could come into effect. That's interesting. Your opponent cannot target this attack position card with card effects. An interesting thing to summon here.
I think we are trying to summon one of the coolest cards in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh!
Oh, yeah, that took me a second to realize what you're going for here.
An Exceeds monster that defies all rules of Exceed summoning. A card as old as time. Sky, Divine Arsenal, AA Zeus, Sky, Thunder. If you ever see a Baguska in attack position, this is what this is leading towards. And there are monsters in defense position, so you can even attack over the FA Dawn Dragster.
As a side note here, I've been testing another deck, that being Melfi, and it's very funny summoning this card in Melfi with like 8 material. It is a very nice thing to have this gigantic mech piloted by a bunch of bunnies. But we see this here attacking over the FA Dawn Dragster as well, able to remove that potential threat from the field. As you say, Sky Thunder does send cards from the field to the graveyard rather than destroy them. So this is going to be extremely impactful if it does resolve.
It's been a while since we've seen Zeus decide games. Daniel is contemplating whether he wants to react, but that is only a Ghost Token Snow Rabbit. That would mean that the Zeus would resolve. The field would be gone. Are we also chaining the Cyframe Lord Omega? Because we have just resolved that.
Goodness.
Oh no, the Omega is unaffected, of course.
Oh, of course it is. We still have the Stardust, we still have the Omega. This is still a game to be had. We have Daniel still in the game, Florian still not having won just yet.
Wow, and actually Axel Synchro Stardust Dragon protects both of these monsters. On resolution, Daniel says, hey, you know what, I kind of do want to rip a card. And there is going to be the 4. Banishes a Pot of Prosperities. That is a huge card to take away from your opponent.
It really is. Having said that, was that the main thing to take? Because that's not a card. I see that as it's not a card yet, you know? And we do have we must have something in hand here to be able to summon from the deck. Or actually, no, vice versa. I'm not sure which way this could go here, but we have something to be able to release tribute from hand, if that is the case.
Oh, we are sending the Futsu from our hand, and that is going to probably be Ame no Murakumo no Mitsurugi, the boss monster of the reptile strategy.
I think the Stardust Dragon stays on the field here, or rather contribute itself to stop. Either way, it's not really too concerned here.
I don't think you want to activate the Murakumo here. I'm gonna be quite honest with you, because if that is the case, the Stardust can just negate and destroy it, and I don't think that is helping you in any sort of way.
No, absolutely not. But we do have a potential search here from the Futsu. Oh, we do. Well, Chain Link 1, Chain Link 2, of course.
Yeah.
So it's Murakumo effect, and then the Futsu chain blocking that Murakumo's Raigeki-like effect to destroy the opponent's field, and searching something from the deck, unless that is itself stopped.
But I mean, the Stardust Dragon is unbothered, no? I think it is protected, otherwise it would have been sent by the Zeus.
I think you're right. Oh, yes, I think the Excelsior Grove protects it, unless much mistaken. Yeah, I think it's unaffected this turn.
So Futsu is going to search. We have spotted a Ghostbound Haunted Mansion in the hand of Daniel. So it is very, very interesting how his field, through his big Synchro combo, is not the greatest. Oh, we are Ghostbelling the Futsu already, so we aren't even letting him go to those crazy mirror turns. And Florian says, okay, Murakumo effect. Well, yeah, all right. The price to pay is Meteors the Pure. That is going to be fine. This card.
Summon that back from the graveyard as well very easily. So this is maybe not as big of a deal as Florian would have been hoping here.
There's one card set. That's what people mean when they say that the Mitsurugi ceiling is not the highest anymore. If destroying everything doesn't work, then there is very few other plans. And this is what Florian really needs. So he now passes the turn, sets one card. Daniel communicating with the judges. Like, can I draw a card here?
Yeah.
Yes, you absolutely can. And honestly, he has a Stardust Dragon on the field.
It's doing a lot for him right now against this Murakumo. It's going to be a bit of an uphill battle here for Florian to be able to make sure that that Stardust is dealt with or gone in some way. We have the Cyframe Lord Omega here as well, being a problem, and a very full hand as we had plenty of draws from the TG Hyper Library before it was destroyed.
So Daniel, let's see how many resources you actually do have in your deck after your big combo, because the field is decimated. There's only Stardust Dragon and the Omega, but now we are opening with another Power Patron in the scale.
We see the Power Patron here. One of the best starters for any of these given strategies as well, able to use an effect to either... Basically, it has various effects that just put it in the extra deck, and when it's there, you can search your deck for something as well. So it does an awful lot for the strategy. We're able to summon here the Elfnote Power Patron by putting itself in the extra deck, and then it gets itself another search, of course.
This card, Vidolium, the Unstable Power Patron of Unity, is phenomenal. All of the big Power Patron Pendulum monsters are breathtakingly strong. The engine sets up for not only big combos, but also plays through fields like it's nothing. And Florian, of course, in an untimed top cut, you would not want to scoop unless you know that you're going to lose the game.
Absolutely. So we have here just a bit of a thought process from both the players. Again, like you said, there's no need to rush it. It's untimed. Considering our moves, considering our plays, taking our time to make sure that we are doing everything the best we possibly can here. We see the Terminus has been activated, or added to hand, sorry, I should say, from the deck for Daniel here as well.
So I think Daniel is just really where he wants to be. There is only a Murakumo. The Stardust in the field is doing surprisingly well, because it just negates the Murakumo if that's ever an issue.
Absolutely, yeah. We also have the summon here of the Meteors the Pure, able to summon a Power Patron from the deck here and get into so much of the Meteors Power Patron. All of the things you need. Obviously in this deck it's more Elfnote geared, but it gets into kind of anything you want depending on what you're going to go for. We see the summon of the Ginaldo here, which is a very powerful card in and of itself. Add to hand, of course, it can add to hand as well, as me thinking it's going to be summoned. But the Pendulum Scale effect of the Ginaldo is, I think, essentially a free draw two. It allows you to draw two, and then I think you have to discard a card. But you then, when it goes to the extra deck, you can add a Elfnote card from graveyard to your hand. Where in this situation, you can either discard an Elfnote card, which you get back to your hand, or discard a dead card in your hand and get an Elfnote that's already in your graveyard back into your hand. So we're going to consider our plays here for Daniel, making sure we do the right thing. And we have the Regina in hand as well, just sending that Ginaldo straight to the graveyard, not even bothering to use this scale effect. And we see the Mitsurugi Prez activated as well, tributing the Murakumo as its optional cost here.
So the big question is, do you Ghost Spell this or do you Ghost Spell the Murakumo effect? Because I'm not quite sure that you're gonna get it off. Hence, since there is going to be a possible chain blocking event happening.
Yeah, this is really difficult here.
We're trying to resolve everything properly. Now the Saji is being summoned to the main monster zone, and then I think now it's going to be Chainlink 1 Murakumo, Chainlink 2 Saji. Florian just, one Murakumo, 2 Saji.
Chain blocking where we need to make sure that this Murakumo resolves as best as it can. That Saji blocking it, protecting it, unless we have something like a Call by the Grave, for example, I don't think there's anything here that can help Florian, help Daniel from stopping that Murakumo no Mitsurugi.
But what can we even search that saves us here? Because yes, we're going to get one effect of. I think we have already used the effect that forces a discard. We've seen an effect Vader in the graveyard. I think that's how it got there. And yep, we used the Stardust Dragon effect. Doesn't destroy it because the Saji protects it, but Stardust Dragon effect actually negated Amino Murakumo no Mitsurugi in 2026.
What a day. What a day. So we have here, continuing to play, get some more Synchro Summons here, going for the Elfnote June Pride here, summoning itself summoning from the extra deck, and then able to summon multiple of these Elfnote cards from all over the place, which I don't know if Florian's going to be able to interact with here. I think it is just the Murakumo. Wait, no, we have a hand, of course we do, but be interesting to see how he decides to interact, if he's indeed able to do so in this situation. Searching his deck, we have Daniel here deciding what, if anything, he wants to summon from deck. We see a Lucina ready to go, and potentially something for graveyard as well as is his option.
Daniel just amassing more and more resources. It is looking rather strong, especially with the June Pride. He just needs to get over this Murakumo. A bunch of those cards in hand came from the Saji effect, for example, and I think he also searched something with the prayers, resummoned the Saji, and of course added something with the Murakumo. So 3 of those cards in hand are already just off of that. Let's see what else he has in hand. I think the one other card in hand was... Oh no, I think we know 2. I think it was Ritual and a Murakumo.
I think you might be right on that. However, if it is just a handful of engine pieces, this might be difficult for Florian here. Summoning the Strelitzia yet again to the field, able to get some powerful effects as we keep on going. And now the Lucina as well, which is able to, I believe, activate a... summon from deck, I should say. And we have the Tinia here as well. This is going to be very difficult for Florian to come back from because there's so much damage. Those Elfnote monsters are not small in attack.
I think the only thing he needs to find is a way to get rid of the Amino Murakumo no Mitsurugi, because that one has a whopping 3,200 attack points.
Yeah, absolutely. It will be difficult. Not impossible, though. We have a lot of powerful cards in the extra deck here, which are going to enable Daniel to get around and get through them. If he is able to summon them, that is the main thing, and it's a rather big if.
He also, I think he has the Terminus in graveyard, right? So if he has a Power Patron monster on the field, he can banish the card and damage step to banish the Amino Murakumo no Mitsurugi. Now Florian is checking his graveyard again. Daniel is asking himself the big question of attack points. How do I get over this? I think he has the Terminus in hand, actually. So not quite in the graveyard. He does not seem convinced about the situation.
Yeah. I was going to say, I think the Terminus has not been used yet. So it'd be interesting to see how it... Oh, I think we're seeing here
Chaos
a
Angel?
Link summon. It is the IP Masquerena that will not get the effect, however, because we don't have anything that was an extra deck type used for the summon here, but we do free up a spot to be able to summon the Elfnote Power Patron from the graveyard with the Strelitzia. Using the effect to do so and summoning from the extra deck here, we're going for a Chaos Angel.
That one can actually get a lot of attack when it battles versus monsters that are level 5 or higher, so you can just gain the current attack while attacking.
Oh, sorry, is that not Chaos Angel?
No, there's Crystal Wing. Chaos Angel, it wasn't
apologies.
even possible.
I was not even looking at the screen there, goodness me.
And now the Crystal Wing attacks, gains the attack, and that should be enough for game, just because the Crystal Wing just steals the 3,200 from the Murakumo, then 4-8 with the SP Little Knight. That is definitely more than 6,400 life points. We're just making sure that it is completely correct. And the game goes to Daniel. 1 foot in Tokyo already.
Very excited for Daniel indeed, making sure that he can close out that game in a very convincing manner, and also sending up protection while he does so with the Crystal Wing as well. Florian here having a bit of a difficult game there. Again, I don't think he had the best start to the game with that the Aramasa summon there as well. Rather unfortunate. Not, again, both players played phenomenally here. Both did their best and did what they could with the hands they were dealt. but it will be very interesting to see how they both go into Game 2 after they've finished their siding as well.
I'm just flabbergasted that Stardust Dragon in 2026 negated a Murakumo, and that was actually very, very much relevant for the outcome of this game. Stardust Dragon, that is so cool. I love this card.
It really is. We see some interesting cards in Daniel's side deck here as well. We have some fairly standards. We have something like Harvey's Feather Duster, Bestial Magnum, which may come in very handy against Florian here. But then we also see the draw on Lockbird, obviously very powerful. The Perulia, potentially good. Pot of Sloth, such a powerful card we've seen in this format. And also something for going first, which I won't spoil yet, just in case, because that is very spicy, and I don't think we've seen him use that yet in any of the games we've seen.
You Elfnote combo enjoyers at home probably know what Charles is talking about, but we are still going to conceal this for a little bit more. Elfnote versus Mitsurugi here in top 8 at the EUWCQ 2026 in Brussels. We are in an untimed top cut, and this is the match for Worlds if you've just tuned in.
I think we are getting ever close to being ready to move on to the next game, so I think we are just about to move in to Game 2.
Can Florian put up a field that is big enough to defeat Daniel's Elfnotes, or is he perhaps going to brick or just make a field that isn't strong enough to withstand the onslaught of Elfnotes? Let's see.
I think having gotten this far, he's already proven himself to be able to. As you say, the deck can be somewhat bricky, but even with that, clearly he's done a good job to get this far. It is, to quote, I believe it's one of the American casters, Billy Brake it might be, but to quote him, it's not what you do with the good hands that makes you a good player, it's what you do with the bad hands.
Yeah. That is very, very much true. There's some games that we have seen over the past season, for example, by players like Philipp Weidinger or Jack Wermer, was suddenly speaking German, that played the Mitsurugi deck so perfectly, even when the hands weren't ideal. It was absolutely magnificent to watch. But now Florian is starting with an Aramasa again, so he is just finding his engine. We summon out the Murakumo, so no draw on Lockbird. That check is already made.
I think that Daniel has just a handful of engine here, but that does mean that we're going to see Florian pop off, as it were, and see a lot of these plays. We're going to go the Chainlink 1 and the Chainlink 2 from the graveyard to be able to get that spell back to the hand, and also be able to grab a spell from deck as well, because I think that was the Sagi that attributed as well. But we are going to see here how this goes for Daniel, because again, it's not as if the Elfnote deck can't play into a field. It can do some very interesting stuff, but having no non-engine visible in hand, that does make it an awful lot more difficult. We're going to see here what Florian goes for. We're adding the press. There is the Ragged Records of Rights here as well. Going to be revealing a spell from the deck and then adding, I have to assume, either a Habakiri or a Futu to hand here as well.
I think we can take the Habakiri, because if we're now activating this, we can summon a level 4 monster. I don't think we have any more in... Oh, probably another Aramasa. Then tribute the Murakumo, trigger that, and then we have access to another rank 4 Exceeds right next to the Murakumo that we're then summoning back. Plus, we also, of course, have the resource of another level 8 Ritual monster in our hand. So if we prioritize something like a Baguska to stop our opponent, because versus Elfnote, a deck that does very little link summoning, that could be quite strong. However, we're post-side deck, so Dugares to draw 2 and possibly find a nice little Solemn Trap card or something like that. Could also be quite juicy.
That would be rather juicy indeed. It is going to be interesting to see, like I said. I think the strength of the Mitsurugi deck is in the non-engine that it can play, because it can do a lot. What it does is not a huge amount. It's impactful, but it's not a huge amount of different things.
Yeah.
But it's that powerful non-engine the deck's able to play as well, because it can play pretty much just the best non-engine in the game. It can play Shifter, it can play Impulse, it can play Spark. It can play all of these cards very well, and we are going to see the Mirror here coming down to tribute the Futu and summon the Habakiri, and then resummon the Futu by searching.
What's your take on Dominus Spark?
I think it is situationally very good. I think it's good at the moment. I don't think it will always be good.
Would agree.
Yeah, I think with most of these cards, I don't. It's not a particularly spicy take. I think at the moment it's powerful because you can send, for example, a Cool Toon back to the hand during the opponent's turn. Maybe they can't, not back to the hand. Sorry, banish it. Things like that. You can do a lot with it, as you know with all the Dominus cards. But they, you can see they do sort of ebb and flow in popularity. I think that what makes Spark so good is the fact that you can run it with this plethora of other trap cards, which mean that your opponent doesn't get the plus off of that. A fun fact, I don't know if it was you and me or me and Basti who found out on Friday, you can impulse Spark because it lets someone summon. Yeah, that was cool.
There was a Rico Eichelberger matchup in the playoffs. That was very, very impressive. Nice to see there. Of course, it would summon a monster. Now Dugares. We're shuffling our deck, of course, before drawing. We have searched quite a bunch. As the rules dictate, before you draw the next card, you have to randomize it again. So 2 draws and 1 discard, and we're skipping the next draw phase. That is something that shall not be forgotten. Important
to note, because when I play this deck, it's forgotten way too much, unfortunately. But we see here, again, Daniel shuffling his hand and just not really anything to stop Florian from comboing here.
The question is, what does Florian find here? Does he have something cool, like an impulse, like a solemn judgment, an accusation, anything that can make this board just that little thicker?
I like having Dugares in the field as just a bonus monster as well, because it does allow for link plays here. Discarding the Ash Blossom, that has to telegraph another Ash Blossom in hand, surely.
And while it's cool that you can discard one because you already have another, it's also your opponent then knows,
Yeah.
They know that you have another Ash Blossom, because surely you're not prioritizing this over something, or you're not prioritizing a Ghost Bell or something over it. Honestly, a Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit versus the Elfnote deck, I even think I would consider.
Yeah, it's interesting. Again, it depends what we don't know what was kept in hand. It could have been something truly phenomenal that was traded off. These 3 spell and traps might be just game winning by themselves. So the Ash Blossom might have been just the worst of an already very strong setup.
Now we go into Dynamondo, another way to summon a card back. We are not running IP Masquerena.
That is interesting, actually. You do often see that.
I think that is to play a little bit around the good old super polymerization. While this field is super polymerizationable,
yes,
the Dynamondo will stick and then be able to summon back the Murakumo or the Futsu, depending on which route you want to go, if you really need the pop immediately. But a Tinia summon is going to be the start. And of course, Florian just says, okay, you know what? I'm going to let you play a little bit, but I'm also going to activate the Futsu, get an Aramasa onto the field. No, that is Kusanagi. Kusanagi will add me back some more resources so I can play like crazy on the next turn if I get it. And I will have some protection from destruction for my ritual monsters.
I think this is one of the main strengths as well as the non-engine it can run. It's the resource loop and the grind game that this deck has to make it so powerful.
Futsu is a very, very big maxi.
It's an insane card. It really, really is. Been able to just keep summoning those monsters from the graveyard. And it's not just the little ones either, it's all of them. They can just keep being summoned. And then you can protect it with the small ones. It just sits there being a problem. And you really have to find a way to remove it quickly, otherwise it's going to keep causing issues for you.
And 3.4k defense is also nothing to scoff at. Wow, immediately pulling the trigger on the Mitsurugi prayers. We do not want our opponent to start playing with the Tinia. That is surprising.
It is surprising, but it is, I don't think, a bad play here if we can remove that Tinia, because it is a very strong starter for the deck. And again, these are not unsummon effects for the Elfnote cards.
Yeah.
They are an activated effect later on after the summon, which I forget the word for.
I mean, the thing is that you also activate the Welcome Home Elfnote card with the Tinia if you get to use that effect, and then you're protecting the monster in your middle monster zone. So you're making Murakumo just that little bit weaker.
That you are as well. I think this 6-card draw there for Daniel was a draw a lot better by the looks of things, which is devastating if that's the case. But we see here the summon, the Chain Link 1 of the Murakumo, the Chain Link 2 of the Sagi, and I think that's the Chain Link 3 of the Mirror here.
If you have a Droll Lockbird and you don't necessarily want to play yourself, you can then now discard this.
You really can. Or just as a potential. Not that it really comes up anymore, because the Murakumo's already used its effect. You can use it during your own turn if needs be, to stop that from happening as well. But we are going to see here the Tinya being sent to the graveyard, destroyed rather, and then the Lucina being summoned in its place.
See, and now this card actually just gets to activate its effect. Futsu could just summon something back. Now the Dynamondo, I understand the sentiment of wanting to be protected from super polymerization. However, Dynamondo, after Murakumo has been used, especially if that's the first thing you do, it's just sitting there.
Yeah, what's it doing at this point? It's interesting. I guess you can bring back the Murakumo again if you really want to. There's no point to do so. You can bring back the Futsu if needs be. It's not doing a lot, like you say. It's an interesting choice to have made here, to have done this exact play.
It's just sitting there. Get a job or something.
I refuse.
There's really not a lot you can do with this card right now. It gives you some sort of utility, okay, but your cards are going to be protected anyways. But there is the Purification, of course, the big red no button. But Florian, he is very, very fast with pulling the trigger on his interruptions.
We see the Vidolium here being activated as well. It's interesting, like you say, it's as if he's trying just to not let Daniel play at all, not allowing him to get anything onto the field, not stick any monsters, not get any of these effects activated in the slightest.
I think versus the deck like Elfnote, Baguska would have been such a strong play.
I think you're so right.
Now we go into the Terminus, and Florian, he has a bunch of cards in hand. One of them is going to be the Ash Blossom that is going to be fired off. Daniel packs up his cards, and Florian takes game 2 back. The non-engine was too strong, the Dynamondo was too chill, and the game is too tied up.
Absolutely. We were digging for cards with the Dagaris there. I don't know which of those were drawn from that and which were drawn beforehand, but it was enough. And again, really unfortunate for Daniel just having a hand full of engine, even the trap, which is kind of a brick going second as well. But then also your 6th card being drolled, almost taunting you at that point.
Right. I mean, but it's giving us a little bit more of a show, right? So that is just a great thing. Game 3, another decider on who goes to Worlds. So far, we've only had one game that ended 2-0 in the top 8 here, and that was Yugioh versus Paul Robert Goes.
Indeed. Gonna see here what these... I always find this interesting to see as well, because obviously after siding one way and then going the other way, both players have to side their options back and forth, one going first, one going second, and then the other way around as well. And it's always fun to see how each player structures and alters their deck to do so.
Quite curious to see that as well, indeed. What goes through your mind when you are sitting one game away from a qualification for the World Championships? You are sitting at the stage, you know, thousands of people are watching you. Your friends are sitting at home in the audience watching you. Even people from your life who do not know about the rules of this game are watching you at this very moment. I cannot imagine the pressure that these players are under after playing continuously for so many hours.
I think what goes through my mind would be screaming. I think I'd be having a rough time at this point. I did attend the WCQ as a player last year, and at this point in the day, I did not make day 2, but even in the side events, I had a thumping headache at this point in the day, and these guys have been playing at the main event for 2 full days, and it is a huge achievement to have made it this far, and it will be even a bigger achievement when one of them does win. But I think we are going to move over quite quickly in to Game 3. Still pile shuffling a bit here. I may have jumped the gun on that slightly, but that's okay.
It's fine.
But we have here setting up near for Game 3. Again, interesting to see what the siding options will be for each player going into Game 3. I think some of the siding options for Florian for going second are... We have obviously something like the Wosu, which is very powerful, searchable Kaiju type card. Also the Harpies and the Lightning Storm, again, quite standard. Honestly, the side deck is kind of, without trying to sound in anywhere rude, kind of unexciting here. It's just kind of standard, but it's because it's good. This is what is tried and tested. We know all these cards work very well here.
Oh, and the players are picking up their cards. Daniel is looking at his opening hand, and that looks like the card that you have been talking about, the secret village of the spellcaster's Terminus as the start. It looks like Terminus is also the only play. Ash Blossom Joy Spring is discarded. Does Daniel have something? He can normal summon Droll and Lockbird and then activate the secret village of the spellcasters if there really isn't anything. He passes the turn!
There.
Florian is now facing nothing on the side of Daniel.
That was very interesting play. Again, do you want to summon the Drawn Lockbird?
No.
And, well, this is the thing. it's the option. Summon it and then have the secret village on the field, or keep it in hand and hope for the best on that front as well. But again, Mitsurugi does struggle with it. It is not necessarily always.
What?
But then we have nothing for Florian as well. Set 2 and sending straight back to Daniel.
What is happening here, Daniel? Can he find a top deck? Something. He has another Terminus. What does Florian have? Another Ash Blossom!
This is going to be a very back and forth game of just waiting on the top deck. Which of these players will be able to play first? I cannot wait to see.
Does he set a monster? Perhaps he has the Elfnote Power Patron in hand. Maybe he can make something happen. Florian does not look like he's going to push a lot. No, he's not setting any cards. Florian finds another top deck. What is it going to be? You need to find plays.
Habakiri! Activating the effect from hand, summoning from deck, tributing. This could be everything. Having said that, we do know that Daniel has the Drawn Lockbird in hand. If this is not everything for Florian, it might end up being nothing.
Oh, but if you actually do resolve this and you get the ritual, you get drawn and locked, that is still kind of okay because you actually get to play a little.
And there's the call by the grave, stopping that Drawn Lockbird from activating at all here.
Ring ring, who's there? It's the grave. Taking away your Droll and Lockbird. Get out of here. Habakiri is being summoned, and there is so few things that Mitsurugi does better than winning games on the spot onto empty fields. Such big monsters. Kusanagi, Aramasa, bring in the whole family. It's party time.
It is indeed party time. Let's see. I don't know what else Daniel has in hand. If he's not able to play, I have to assume he's got a lot more non-engine. I think it looks like an infinite permanence and effect Vader, which don't really do a lot here against Mitsurugi as a strategy.
Now Florian, he just needs to find a clean way to win the game, while Daniel, he is smiling a little bit. He's sadly looking at his cards, shaking his head. This might be the end of the journey at the EUWCQ. This might not end in this absolute dream of attending the World Championships for him. He might be slowly accepting his fate, but before that, Florian will have to find a way to end the game. Mitsurugi Ritual is activated. Habakiri is considered as a ritual tribute, and we're summoning from deck.
I think this is a very unfortunate place for Daniel to be in here. But again, they've both done so well to get even this far in the tournament. We have the Murakuma on the field, which is going to be contesting any activation of an effect from Daniel, if any at all. We have the summon of the Habakiri from the graveyard, getting more and more advantage and keeping playing here.
So in theory, with full knowledge, just this with a prayers would be game.
But we do see the Mitsurugi Mirrorbit activated from hand here as well.
Oh, are we going to summon a Futsu as well? Another Murakumo. The second one activates the effect in the graveyard. Just summons itself back. This is way more than 8,000 attack on the field. Florian is searching at Purification. Daniel looks at the camera, shaking his head, and that is the handshake. Florian goes to the World Championships. Our next contender at the WCS in Tokyo.
Well done to Florian as he's heading to Tokyo. Daniel, commiserations. You did the best you could. Did a fantastic job throughout the entire game there. What a wonderful, spectacular weekend you've had. But it has ended here, and Florian is through to Tokyo.
He is being celebrated with his friends, but with this, we're going to send you over to the other top 8 match to see who's going to be the next contender at the WCS.